Alright, hey everybody, welcome to Chiustream. It's been a while, but I'm back. Had to do a lot of traveling. It's been great. So I just want to welcome, first of all, everybody that is new to the stream. Huge welcome to you guys. Here's how it works. Okay, so in the description of the stream, I posted up a link to this file. And it's actually the mirror image of this file. Just wanted to try something different. I flopped it so you could do the exact same. And if you're watching this off of YouTube, you can go to the link in the description or on screen and follow that link to a Schoolism page where you can download this file. Okay, and so I want to start off the stream how I always start off the stream, by doing a little roll call. Let me know where you're from. I'll give you a big shout out. And yeah, I already see a whole bunch of people on the stream, so it's always great to see. And a bunch of familiar faces as well. So yeah, let me know where you're from, and I'll try to give out as many shout outs as I can. It's always great to know that there's others out there just like you and me, working hard, painting. Monica from Poland. You got Australia, Brisbane, Australia, Berlin. Malo from Berlin, Croatia, Kansas City, Italy near Venice, Thailand, Ukraine. List goes on and on. Really great to see everybody on here. Indonesia, New Hampshire, and so on and so forth. Right on. Well, that's great. I'm gonna actually tweet this out right now, just so people aren't saying, "Oh, I didn't know about this." And of course, France, always doing their thing. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just, if you're gonna do the exercise with me, it's always great if you're gonna post it to hashtag it Chiustream. Okay, I'll spell it out on screen for the YouTube watchers after. And if you do, then this is what can happen, right? I search for hashtag Chiustream, and I pick the ones that I like the most, and I kind of spotlight somebody. So today's spotlight is this wonderful monochromatic painting from an exercise I did all about painting pugs. So you can go and check out this person's Instagram account, whatever you like, and hopefully give you some wonderful exposure, wonderful, well-deserved exposure. So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions that you want in the chat, and to make it easier, please type in question in capital letters. Okay, today usually what I do is, and I should start painting already, usually what I do is I would start painting something beforehand, and that way I don't have to read the questions and stop my painting. But today I have my wonderful assistant Masay here to read the questions to me. So you want to say hi, Masay?
Hey everyone!
Right on. So Masay is this wonderful artist in Toronto, where I'm from, and went to Sheridan and all that good stuff. And now she's ours, and she's doing some, she's going to be traveling the world and assisting us in all sorts of ways. Yeah, it's going to be fun, right?
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and so Masay will be reading the questions, okay?
Okay, so we have a question. Do you struggle with keeping the good habits going, and how do you build and maintain them?
Oh man, that's a great question. So, do I struggle keeping the habits, the good habits going? Yeah, definitely. I'm totally not like, and I think that's important for people to know, that I try and I do pretty good, but it's always a struggle, and you'll go through these kind of moments, these periods in time where it's an absolute struggle to keep things going properly, right? And you have your ideal routine, and you always try to well, I always try to maintain my ideal routine, but if I can't, you just do what you do and you try to get back on the horse later on. You know, because everybody has stuff in their lives, especially right now with the holidays coming up. It just gets even crazier. Um, so yeah, it's okay if you kind of fall off the horse every once in a while. You just gotta get back up. Why do we fall, Miss Haiti? Why do we fall? It's like that Batman quote. So we can get back up.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, lately I'm trying to go to, wake up at 6 in the morning, try to go to gym before coming to work here.
Nice.
Yeah, but then there's those days where I'm like, okay, I can't today, and I sleep in. But then, I can always do it again the next day. Like, there's always tomorrow, I feel like.
Definitely. Like a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago, I forget, but I sent out this newsletter. I don't know if you remember, but I sent out a newsletter of my routine.
Yeah.
My ideal routine, and I, made it a point to mention on there that that's not my everyday routine. That's my, ideal day, right, where I would get the most done. So yeah, you struggle, but you gotta just get back on the horse. And you know what? That getting back on the horse is like the hardest part, don't you think?
Because you have to start all over again.
Yeah, and that's where people fall off.
Yeah.
That's where people are like, oh yeah, I'm not exercising for a while now, but I'm still alive, I'm still good.
Yeah.
And then they just don't really exercise anymore, right? Same thing with your routine.
Yeah. And I think to start a routine is just being conscious of it, like being like aware of what you need to do and how to start it, and trying to plan something. So as long as you get that first step, it's like one step closer, I feel like.
No, I totally agree. And another thing about routines is like try to make it easy for yourself. Try to take away or kind of push the things that you don't want to do and away from you and make it much, much harder. Like, the pinball machine we have outside?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I heard.
I have a pinball machine outside, and, I was totally addicted to it. Just playing it all the time. And so instead of kind of just trying to go cold turkey, willpower, whatever, instead I just went, okay, well, there's a lock on the pinball machine, so I just hid the key. I put it in a different room and made it a little harder. And then that didn't work. I did other stuff and put the key into a box, which was in another box, until eventually I was like, I don't want to go through all that just to play a pinball machine. And then things got easier. Yeah, so there you go. If you fall off your horse, everybody does. And I don't think anybody can kind of say that they've just been perfect all their lives and they're super, so disciplined that they've never kind of fallen off their horse. One person that's super dedicated is Nathan Fouts. He is the most kind of disciplined artist I know. He's been sketching in his sketchbook like every day for like years and years and years. And even him, Nathan himself has said there's been a couple times, not too many, because he is so diligent, but there has been a couple times where he was not able to keep up with the daily sketch. So we have another question here, which is, I struggle a lot with envisioning what I draw before drawing it. What's your advice on how to train this? Well, actually, these exercises are perfect because that's what these exercises are all about. I give you, like for example, this one, I'm just giving you a simple composition, right? What do you see within that? Perhaps you don't see anything. Like right now, I don't see anything. I'm pretty much struggling with this first composition, but then I just think about, well, what can I see here? you know, what can I see? Oops, what the heck? I turned something on. Okay, that must be my channels. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so, you know, what can I see here? Well, I can see that there is a big, oops, that there's a big structure here, right? And then there's a background. So then I can kind of go to myself, well, I don't really see anything within that structure. So what else can I kind of see there? Well, I can see whether or not I want the structure to be darker than the background or lighter. And you could just start off with something as simple as that. You could start off with just trying to see an angle of something, you know? It could just be that trying to match up an angle and seeing that angle before you actually put it down. And that's going to help you visualize stuff as well. And, you know, just like weightlifting, you start off with the lighter weights and then you go into heavier weights and you try to visualize the color of something or more heavy, complex structure. You know, perhaps it's a vehicle of some sort and things like that. But yeah, visualizing stuff, super important. The hardest thing to really do, I feel, and that's what all these drawing exercises that I've been doing focus around. Thank you for that question. So another thing I want to mention was I was saying that visualizing stuff is difficult, right? Well, don't stop because it's just difficult. You got to keep trying. And you got to try harder than you're used to trying to see real change. Again, if we go back to kind of like the analogy of working out, right? If you don't push yourself to the limits, then you're not going to grow. If you're just lifting easy to lift weights, then you're not going to really grow too fast. Masay, you've been doing rock climbing recently, right?
Oh yeah, the bouldering. It's hard in the beginning, but after going 2-3 times a week, it just gets easier and easier, and then once you realize it, you're just climbing all the way to the top.
Well, I think that really relates to art as well, you know? Like, same thing. In the beginning, it's going to be difficult.
So much pain.
Totally,
A
totally.
lot of pain.
What's something that you struggle with right now, Masay?
With art?
Mm-hmm.
With art, I would say perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do lately is whenever I have time, I just look at the room that I'm in and try and draw things in perspective or like go outside, see, like look at things around me, try and comprehend that and try and put that paper onto the paper. So that's pretty much my exercise, but every time I do it, I know it's not great, but I feel like it's necessary.
It's in the beginning, you know, like, or maybe not totally the very, very beginning, but you know, compared to your potential, it's like just the beginning right now, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the main thing is that we haven't really tried until we tried our absolute hardest. And success follows those who try. That's why it's like, if you succeed in one thing and you do really, really well and you're known for, you know, perhaps locations, well, guess what? A lot of people will be a lot more open for you to try something like production design because they know that you're the type of person to put in that effort that not a lot of people actually get to, right? And that means that you can essentially learn anything.
Yeah. Oh, we have a question by Ketty. You're married with an artist. How do you find a balance between time to work and time to live?
Great question. Oh my goodness. okay, I don't know what you feel about this, but yeah, what I try to do anyways is pretty much I try to mix living with work all the time. You know, so like our workshops, uh, you know, we were in Dubai, right? And so it was 2 days of work, and then we went to the tallest tower in the world. We went to the aquarium. We went dune buggying in the desert. We drove like an hour into the desert where we had dune buggies waiting for us. It was awesome. It was crazy good, super fun, really just like unbelievably fun. And it was, you know, is like we had to do that. Why? Because we had to bring our teachers there, our instructors there, and make sure that they have a great time. And so we kind of designed our lives like that, right? So we want to travel the world. We want to still learn, right? And this is the perfect scenario because we conduct a workshop. We're going to be learning, and we're traveling somewhere to conduct the workshop. So then, win-win situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the upcoming next workshop is going to be...
Oh, totally. Thank you so much. Seattle. We just mentioned that yesterday. We just opened it up yesterday. So for all of you that are in the Seattle area or are looking to ramp up your game, hey, I couldn't recommend these workshops enough. Super fun, and you're learning. So Seattle workshop is happening April 7th and 8th. It's going to be with Creature, you know, Master, Terrell Whitlatch. We're going to have Dice Tatsumi, Robert Kondo, both Oscar nominees, Mike Yamada, production designer at Disney, Marcelo Vignali, and myself. We're all going to be there at the Seattle workshop happening in April. And it ties in with the Seattle Emerald City Comic Con. So if you are going to the Comic Con, come for the workshop. It's going to be happening pretty much the same days. The workshop is going to start on Thursday. I believe the Comic-Con starts on Friday, and definitely going to be an amazing time. Really amazing time, so gotta get on it.
Yeah, lots of great artists. I think everyone should be there.
Are you going to that one, or?
I would like to.
You'd like to?
That'd be awesome.
We'll see
All
what
the
we can
heroes
do
are
about
there.
that.
But that reminds me of the CTN that we went to a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
That was
your very first time
my
at
very
CTN.
first CTN. If anyone has not gone, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, and you know what? We could put a link in the video to, yeah, I made a video blog about CTN if you're always curious and always want to know what it's like. You could check that out.
Oh, we have another question by Ketty. Is Florence in Italy workshop, is it confirmed?
Yes, so we're going to be announcing that probably next week, so or the week after, but let's see here. Let me just try to find it. So Florence workshop is going to be March 19th. Okay, and that's going to be awesome. That's going to be with Terrell, or sorry, not Terrell Whitlatch. It's going to be with Helen Mingju Chen, and it's going to be with Ryan Lang and myself. Kay's going to be there as well. And so that one is going to be really awesome. Can't wait for that one. I love Florence, so it's always a joy to go back. You know, it's important to actually, I was doing this talk at CTN, and I was saying, like, it's so important to keep learning. No matter if it's through Schoolism or whatever else, it doesn't have to be through Schoolism. You could pick a book or whatever it might be. keep learning. You gotta keep learning. You know, the one thing that I see that is like the common mistake amongst new professionals is that they stop learning because their whole entire goal to begin with was to get a job, right? And once you get a job, then they're like, okay, well, now their goals are to make their lawn as green as their neighbors, you know, and their priorities change. And then, of course, their careers will take a change as well because they stop doing the things that they were doing to get into the position that they're in.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Definitely.
gotta keep learning. And part of that is just trying to search out knowledge. And the other thing is to look for the things that you don't know. The things that you don't know that if you did know, it would really amp up your potential. You know, so the next time you come towards an artistic challenge, really try to take it head on. That's my suggestion. Don't try to dodge it.
So we have a general question by KJP.
Okay.
He asked, how do you deal with color? Whenever I start the color phase, I just go crazy.
I know, right? So, I hear you. Color is difficult. Some people only study color all their lives and still, you know, they are not masters of it. And generally, nobody's really a master of color because you can't really, you can always improve your fundamentals more and more. How I suggest to do it is first, you gotta learn how light works because you can't really study color without understanding light, right? If there was no light, there's no color. So study how light works. Of course, like I said, there's many different ways to learn, but for example, Sam Nielsen has a wonderful class called Fundamentals of Light on Schoolism, which is, it does totally that. It explains to you exactly how light works and puts you through a bunch of really awesome assignments to help you with that, help you understand that. Dice Tatsumi, Robert Kondo, they have a freaking amazing class as well. If you look on the, like, if you look up other people's assignments on that class, you'll see people really start to understand it really, really well. So I would suggest either one of those, you know, get a subscription or something and do the assignments. Don't just watch the videos. I feel like the next generation of artists or just people in general are going to be divided, heavily divided between the people that do the work versus the people that use the internet more for a source of entertainment than anything. And it's not like you're just using it for entertainment if you are, you know, watching classes, right? You're still going to get some stuff from it, but you're not going to get nearly as much as if you took the time to actually do the assignments. So, do the assignments.
Just do it.
Yes, exactly.
I have a question for you. Do you
Sure.
think you're going to be doing the vlogs most of your workshops and like trips?
Well, I hope so. My idea is I want to, you know, we go on so many trips. I want to do a different vlog for every trip. So, like, recently we found out that Nico and the Sword of Light was nominated for two Annie Awards. Two Annie Awards. Best special production or something like that, and the other one is for storyboarding for TV and broadcast. So
amazing.
so, you know, like I'm gonna try to figure a way to get to the Annies, which means we're probably going to miss, we are going to miss Angoulême this year, the Comic-Con in France. But yeah, hopefully we can go to the Annies, and if I do, I'm going to make a vlog about that too,
Yeah.
because I'm sure a lot of people are curious about how the Annies really are.
Did you expect like to win such a big award? Did you kind of like aim towards this, or was this more like a project that you wanted to just develop for your personal?
Well, first, pretty much all the props goes to everybody else, I think. The Amazon people, the Titmouse Studios that created the episode for Amazon. Jim Bryson had a huge part in it. He was another creator. We didn't win anything yet, but hopefully we will win something. Was it a surprise? Yeah, it was a surprise because I didn't submit the show to the Annies. Titmouse did, and so it was a complete surprise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
And all of it was a big surprise. Like the app going #1 in like 36 countries when we put it out. That was a huge surprise because in the beginning it did nothing. It didn't do nothing, but it was really like sales were not that good. They weren't good at all, and it wasn't until like the third week where everything kind of blew up. So it just goes to show that you got to keep going, and you got to really put in your real effort, which means to try your absolute hardest. Not as hard as you can. I mean, like, villages are gonna burn if you fail. Like, put pressure, real life, like, pressure on yourself to get that real effort out. Okay? Of course, the village isn't gonna burn, so don't, like, go through bad health or anything. You can put in effort without being stressed out. All right. I think, as you see the questions, maybe just copy them somewhere, paste them somewhere.
Okay. We have a question about, it's about like t-shirt design. Are you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
In your opinion, what kind of artist could make t-shirt design? An illustrator?
What kind of artist can make t-shirt designs?
I feel like anyone can
Yeah.
do that. I've done one. I've done one for like my team, and like my friends, they're in animation and they've done t-shirt designs for themselves and they sell it off. Things like that. So
What's that? What's that?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't say it. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Anybody can do t-shirt designs, especially now, because it's like you can print out painterly stuff as well, right? You don't have to have all vector art and everything, even though colors will come out differently, or printing will come out differently. I think, it's just a matter of finding a good idea to make it worthwhile to actually print out a t-shirt. Anybody can do that. Even non-artists, they could do that as well, right? They could just think of a phrase, and sometimes just a phrase, all of a sudden it's going to sell massive amounts of t-shirts, and they can totally jump into that business. Okay, so all these sketches, I really don't like them. It's kind of difficult to kind of go over the questions and think about the answers and then, whatever else. So I'm just going to put my excuses out there for now. And yeah, we'll see how it goes from this point on. The other thing is that I don't expect any of these to turn out well. So that kind of helps me take off a lot of pressure off my hands. This to me is really just kind of like a warm-up. All right. Is there any other questions?
There's a question for me, it looks like,
Oh,
from
okay.
Teddy. How do you win the trust of Imaginism Studio? You help them? Bobby sometime told us about do good things for other artists to win trust.
Yeah, I want to hear this one because I have my own answer for why, why you're here. Why we chose you.
Well,
So
the main reason was, I mean, I started taking your Schoolism classes before I started working, and I went to the Toronto workshop, and after that I just felt super inspired. Me and my friends couldn't stop talking about it because, you've got Helen Chan, Claire Wendling, Sam Nielsen, just a bunch of great artists, and then, the things that you do for people who can't really afford education is, I think that's a wonderful thing. It's making it such a, like, it's a new generation for artists, and I think, just being able to be a part of that and helping other people it's a very humbling experience, I feel like.
it's totally, yeah. I couldn't agree more, and it's very, very nice of you to say that. But why do you think you're here? Why do you think we, wanted you here, like accepted you?
I don't know. Why did you guys take me?
Well, you know what? Definitely knowing that you went to the workshop, that was really nice. The other thing was that you were very nice just in school. So we, will always ask, oh, does anybody know this person? And you were actually recommended by another person that is here, Michelle,
Yeah.
right? And so she said nice things about you, but that only gets you in the door.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had, I believe you wrote a cover letter. And believe me, like the cover letter, it does a lot because there's so many ways to do it wrong. If you just do something that sounds generic, you wouldn't have been here, right? If it sounds like, oh, this is cut and paste for anybody, any studio, then it's automatically disqualified for me. Anyways, I don't know how everybody else does things. And so that got you, I think we did a dinner.
A lunch.
Right, and we did a lunch together, and that is kind of just to see how you kind of are, in person, and you did really well there as well. Just, didn't insult anybody. And, yeah, basic stuff. But then at that time, we still were like, yeah, we're not gonna take you, remember?
Yeah, I remember. I was pretty down when I received it, but then I was like, I can't give up, so I sent you guys an email.
A follow-up email. Super nice. And that was really huge bonus points. So what Masay did was she wrote to us and just said, thank you for the opportunity to like have the interview and stuff like that. Still very positive.
It was a great experience just being able to sit down with artists and get to know them, not just about art but like who they are as a person.
See, super nice. And then that still didn't get you the job, right?
Yeah.
And then we went to Comic-Con and we saw you there, like the Toronto Comic-Con.
Yeah.
We saw you there. And I went over to your table and I said hi, and you were just as cheerful as you are now, like you were still super nice, super cheerful. And then that's when I was like, yeah, you know what, we should bring her in.
Aw, okay, I didn't know about that
part. So there you go. That's why you're here. It's because under all of these things, you still kept very positive and really, you know, it's just a pleasure to just be around. And those are kind of like, those are totally the people that I look for. You know, if somebody bugs the heck out of anybody, they're pretty much out of here very quick.
I feel like for me, what was important in finding a job was knowing the company as well as believing in the company.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not just saying that.
Take notes, people. She
It's
knows
true,
how to
because
butter it up. That's great.
No, yeah, I just think like it's like, yeah, everything that you guys do. And then so even though when I found out I didn't get the job position, I was like, you know what, it's still experience. I can take that and just apply it to the next thing that comes towards me.
Amazing. You know, it's totally like how you deal with setbacks, how you deal with things that seem like they're going to be bad things, but actually, if it wasn't for those bad things or whatever, getting, you know, not getting it right away, then you never would have gotten it.
Yeah. Just a bunch of experience.
Totally. And, you know, that's something that I try to tell people all the time is like, embrace the so-called failures. They're not failures, they're just setbacks. And they're not even setbacks because they are part of that path towards success. So you're going to have bumps in the road, or else it's not going to be, you know, you think about any hero of yours, the biggest heroes of yours, and they all went through some sort of failure, some sort of disappointment, right? And it's really all about how they dealt with it that really defines them as a person. So good for you.
Thank you.
Right on.
Okay, so we have a question about Jonathan Hardesty.
Okay.
Is Jonathan Hardesty available in the self-taught Schoolism formula or only for the video feedback class?
Right, so right now it's only for the premium version. Why? Because people watch feedback videos more than the lessons. Actually, it's very, you know, it's a very surprising thing. Jonathan Hardesty, just in case any of you don't know, he is a fine artist. He specializes in realism. So we brought him onto Schoolism to teach the essentials of realism. It's an awesome course. It's like, you know, the atelier version of learning things. This is the digital atelier, digital art atelier. It's going to be fantastic. I've already seen a lot of the classes and they're brilliant. And so right now, if you like, you know, it is open for the premium version, not for the subscriptions yet. But the premium version is, you know, very much worth it because Jonathan will be painting on top of your art, you know, doing commentary as well as he's painting over top of your assignments, really customizing his teaching towards your specific skill level. You can't go wrong with that. Another class, you know, while we're on the subject, I want to just talk about Terrell Whitlatch, creature anatomy class. She is literally the best, I think, in teaching this subject. She knows so much about creatures and creature anatomy, and this is such a special opportunity to literally learn from the best in the whole industry for this topic. And premium version, she's drawing over top of your stuff. She is correcting your stuff. And yeah, opportunities like that don't last forever.
Okay, so we have a question from Megan. How did
Yes.
you know it was time to quit your bad art job? How did you build the confidence and faith in yourself to do so?
Totally. It was like a month of hyping myself up before quitting, you know, and I just kept reading about successful people, reading about their struggles, reading about how hard it was and the attitude that they went at their goals. You know, for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, character, maybe he's a little questionable, right? But there's so many things about him that are just absolutely fantastic. He's a person that can't speak English at the time, and his goal is to become the biggest, the best, movie star in the world, in Hollywood, doing English-speaking films. Now, for those of you that maybe only know how to speak English, that's like you making a goal for yourself to be the biggest Spanish movie star in the friggin' world.
Yeah.
Talk about struggles. Talk about a huge goal where it's like, how the heck am I ever gonna get that? But then he did attain that. He was the highest paying or paid actor in his prime, right? Which, no matter what anybody thinks about Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's pretty damn amazing. So what is your ultimate goal? If you don't have one, create one. And I'm going to put Masei on the spot a little bit right now.
Oh no.
What's your ultimate goal? Do you have one?
My ultimate goal. That's a good question. I feel like for me, I just like taking little steps and then finding out what I want to do in the end. So right now, just being able to work in the industry was my small step. Next would probably be getting more people to know my stuff, and then eventually I actually want to make a children's illustration book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, something like that. And then if I feel a bit more adventurous, maybe I'll think of building my own studio.
Right
just
on.
like you.
Right
So,
on.
yeah.
That's a good goal. That's a really bunch of really good goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess while we're at it, what's your Instagram?
Oh, my
name?
Instagram is Masei Seki. It's MASAESEKI. And my Tumblr, which is where I put most of my stuff, is seiseiseki.tumblr.com, and I guess I'll just link it on the video. Or
Right on.
it's SAESAESEKI. Yeah.
Right on. Well, there you go. I hope some people go out and follow you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right on.
Okay, and we have a question from, sorry if I butcher your name, Chirag. His question is, I want to get into environment design and I'm struggling so badly with interiors. Do you have any exercise for interiors, and how can I connect it with a character?
What I like to do is something like this, something simple where you just create a simple composition and then you try to look within that composition and see the possibilities there. That to me is nice because it's not too restrictive, and if your compositions are simple enough, you could paint a butcher shop, or you can make it into a 30th century space station. It's just a simple composition just helps you get started, and a lot of times that is like the hardest thing. And I gotta mention, I don't care, I gotta mention Nathan Fowkes. He teaches a environment design class, which is brilliant. That's what the man does for a living, environment and color. If you can, take it. If you can't, do the exercise. If you can do both, hey, even better. You just gotta get crazy with it sometimes. You gotta push past your limits. Push past what you think your limits are. If you can push past your limits, you will probably be extremely frustrated, but frustration is just your brain looking for the answer. So keep going. Keep doing that thing. Your brain is not going to explode. So push it to some limits.
We have a question about schoolism classes, and this person asked, do you have to have a certain skill level to take schoolism classes?
No, that's something that is kind of like a misconception. You know, schoolism is the place that you go when you're professional and you want to keep learning. Where do I keep learning? Where do I go to keep learning at a high level, like, or extremely high professional level? Well, yeah, you go to schoolism classes, but schoolism classes, it's really not about the be all end all of how I see light and color and deal with light and color, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's really more like, how does that person do it? How does Daisu Tsumi and Robert Kondo think about light and color? How do they feel like you should learn stuff? You know, and then afterwards you learn how Nathan Fowkes does it, and so on and so forth. That is really how you're really gonna learn quickly and are able to develop style and art that is all your own. You don't stop at one teacher. As much as I, am pained to say that, because you almost want your students to just kind of follow me, just do what I'm doing or whatever, but the truth of the matter is you got to keep looking. You got to keep looking for this non-stop search for knowledge. I don't know if that answered the question, but hope it did.
Yeah, I feel like anyone can start taking, even if they're a beginner. There's a class by Thomas Fluharty.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really nice course to just get to know what you want to get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the drawing fundamentals course. Yeah, and my main point is that pretty much all the courses, except for perhaps something more complex like creature anatomy, you have to know structure, you have to know some basic anatomy first before delving into that. Most of the other classes, they are for professionals as well as beginners, because you're not learning the be-all end-all of how to do something. You're learning how they do something. And for beginners, I would actually recommend for sure taking great classes from really great artists. Don't go to amateur artists, because they will give you horrible amateur art habits that later on I gotta fix, and like try to drive it out of your system. So, yeah. Start with really great artists.
Okay. Oh, someone, Natalia asks or says, "Hi guys, having a great birthday joining you."
Oh, happy birthday, Natalia!
And she says, "I work with my couple, and sometimes it can be difficult. What's the dynamic between you and Kay?"
Oh, for sure. I listen to Kay. That's kind of like, well, obviously that's not the answer, but the answer is really to have a lot of communication, a lot of trust, and to constantly think about things from their point of view. I know sometimes I think I'm thinking from Kay's point of view, but I'm not, and I gotta really like kind of dig in there and really soul search almost to kind of figure, oh, okay, that's how she's probably feeling, and then try to confirm that with her. And the other thing is that I don't like to flatter too much. I don't like to say things that I don't mean, and in the beginning that can be a little tough, but in the end it makes for a much stronger relationship, because then you could trust the person. No matter what they say, however bad it is, you can trust that it's the truth. And for me, that was very hard to take, because sometimes, for example, I'll ask her, what do you think of this? I'm all proud, showing her, and then she'll be like, you could do better. And that's her feedback, I'm like devastated, but at the same time, after I wipe away the tears and, you know, cry myself to sleep. I get up and I'm like, you know what? I really appreciated that. She was totally right. And that was just like the few times in the beginning. Now when she says that kind of stuff, I'm just like, okay, let's redo it. Right? And I just totally trust her 100%. But yeah, communication is the key. The key. And you know what? It's such a overlooked thing with art in general. You gotta be able to communicate with your director. You gotta be able to communicate with your producer or whatever it might be that you have to talk with. If you aren't communicating your ideas, you're not going to be able to be part of a bigger team to work on something like a cool video game or a movie or whatever it is.
Do you feel like when you ask for feedback, it's important to think about who you're asking? Because yeah, like sometimes there's the right people to ask for feedback and sometimes there's the wrong people.
Yeah, like you wouldn't want to ask I don't know. I was thinking like horrible examples. I was thinking, well, you wouldn't want to ask a pedophile like if my baby's cute, you know, that kind of thing, or for them to babysit or something like that. But like some people, they ask me, oh, what do you think about these storyboards? And I'm like, well, they seem kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But for sure, I'm not like a storyboard master in any sense. So it would probably be better if the person asked the storyboard artist, right? And the other thing is, I'll tell you this from having the experience of being a teacher in college and all that kind of stuff. When you got a whole bunch of students all staring at you and one person asks you a question, whether you do it or not, you do feel this obligation to know the answer. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you don't fake it and you just say some, answer or whatever that you're guessing at and make it sound totally legit and real. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you say, I don't know the answer, but I'll get back to you. I'm going to find out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a question that I would like to know as well.
Sure.
So Mark's Everywhere asks, when you've made a friend with a mentor artist you've admired, how do you leave the place of admiration and idolize and build a somewhat normal friendship?
I think that shit comes naturally, excuse my language. I think it really comes naturally, and again, it's one of those things that are a little sad, but I understand and I appreciate it. I appreciate the growth of somebody, it's just like when we first talked and stuff like that, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps there was a bit more like, oh, I really like this person's art, and now I'm talking to them, a little bit of nervousness or whatever. Now it's gone, right? Now it's a lot more, like it's disappeared a lot more, at least. Hopefully I'm not too intimidating. But that's nature, right? And it kind of stinks in a way when you have somebody that's like perhaps very appreciative of you, and then later on they become more appreciative of somebody else, right? And because like they're hanging out with you all the time, and now it's not as special. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's a very selfish kind of thing to think. Even though I will tell you, naturally, yeah, that was something that I felt and had to kind of battle, because I knew it was very selfish. But yeah, it's a natural thing that will happen as you hang out with the person more. Just like public speaking, the more times you do public speaking, the better at it you'll be. The more times you go into a room with all these executives and you have to pitch your idea and really control the floor and whatever, the better you'll get at it. Or you'll break and you'll never want to do it again. It's up to you. That's a good question, though. Yeah. But definitely, also, the other thing is follow up. you gotta follow up with people. Once you make a connection or whatever, don't wait 3 months to follow up. If you are the person trying to get to know somebody and you give them an email, you send them an email, and the person responds in 2 days, don't respond back in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, respond right away, because you're the one searching them out. It's just simple things like this. Like, I wish they would teach these things in school, because it's much more helpful than, like, you know, learning trivial things that you won't really use anymore. Out of all the art skills and everything that I've learned over the years, the skill that is the most important is communication. And it's something that I never would have thought. But
yeah, you would think
totally
that
true.
you're just in your own space doing your own artwork, but that's only like a part of it, like a small part of it.
No, totally, you're
Yeah.
so right. And you know what? The funny thing is, it's like most of us we want to get into art because we like to be alone. We like to just do our own thing in our room or whatever. It's totally not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like communication skills is, I mean, that gets you through doors because of connections. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I'm here, is because even though Michelle was in a completely different year than me, 2 years above me actually, I just wanted to get to know her, and then somehow I'm here now.
Exactly.
So, like,
exactly. Proof is in the
yeah.
pudding.
And be a nice person, just in general, just be a nice person, because, you know, there's no point of being, burning bridges or like being mean, because it's not really gonna get you anywhere.
I love it. I love it. See, that's why you're here. You're just full of, like, positivity. And you know what the thing is? It's like, you're talented, but even if you weren't that talented, we would probably have you anyways, unless you couldn't draw a circle or something. Because, I don't feel like I was naturally talented at all. I feel like I'm persistent and I believe in hard work, and that's what cultivates the talent. So anybody can cultivate talent. It's a lot harder to, have somebody that's a total, a-hole hoping that they'll turn into a nice person.
Yeah.
That's way harder.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention that.
The great thing about, our industry is that most of the people are really nice, which, I'm not, like, I'm not surprised, but, like, it's nice to know that, like, in this industry, everyone is just really supportive and just great to get to know.
Definitely. And you know what? One is the people that last, generally, they're like that. They're very nice. The other is that the people that you met through us, yeah, they're generally all nice, because we don't like to hang out with, jerks. Yeah, totally. That's actually one of the mission statements for us is great people above great talent. And that's hugely important. Um, just because we might not even know any great artists in whatever school, if you're a great person, really great person, genuinely great person, talent can come from anywhere. To have a nice person come from a horrible person, that's way harder to find. Right. Oh, I remember what I was going to do here. So I was going to do like a little sun down here. Any other last questions? we're almost out of time. If not, that's fine too. I'm just going to finish this up.
Okay. I like what Monica said. She says, talent to me is some extra neurons in the brain to help see certain things easier, like understanding math quicker, finding better ways to write a novel, or drawing something really well. The rest of skill is hard work.
Definitely. And the cool thing is that you can get better at certain aspects of thinking. You know, like we were talking yesterday about cab drivers in New York, and I was saying cab drivers in New York, yeah, but cab drivers in London, they know like every street, and it's not organized like New York. Or New York's, you know, streets in New York are very organized. First Street, Second Street, and all this stuff. In London, they're not parallel at all, and they're all over the place. So to have all of these cab drivers memorizing over 3,000 streets or whatever it might be, and having this like mental map in their head, that's incredible. And if you were not able to train your brain to get better at certain aspects of thinking, like memory or spatial memory or whatever it might be, seeing structure, perspective in your head, stuff like that, you know, like only the most talented people could become bus drivers. But we know that that's not the case. A lot of these people, they train themselves to become really great at that.
Oh, we have a question for the 30-day live and workshop.
Oh, yeah.
What do you look for in the portfolios?
Right. So your knowledge, what is your knowledge of structure? What is your knowledge of lighting, shadow, you know, anatomy, generally the fundamentals. But again, the real trick to it is we're not looking for the best of the best. We're looking for the best people, right? And so you hand in your portfolio, and the real kind of test is the Skype call, the Skype interview. You know, first of all, I don't pick who gets in, okay? Let me just make that straight, because I don't want people to be like, well, you know, I didn't get chosen, and that means Bobby hates me or something. I'm not the person that chooses, because Thierry Lafontaine, he's the person that chooses. You can blame everything on him. I'll give you his email. He chooses because he is the person that will be your live-in mentor. You know, he lives there at the house. He'll be there the whole entire time. And because of that fact, we ask him to choose, because last thing I would want to do is have somebody choose somebody that I didn't like to live with me for a month, right? So that's what we look for. We look for just great people in general, that are not afraid to work hard. I think the coolest thing, and let me just say, you know, for anybody that doesn't know what the 30-day in-house workshop is, I'll put a link in the description as well. 30-day in-house workshop is literally you're living with your mentor in this big 6,000 square foot lake house that we have just outside of Montreal, Canada. And it's only you and 3 other artists that are accepted at one time. You know, so you're living with 3 other artists from all over the world, South Africa to Australia to, you know, wherever, Singapore to Brazil. And you're living with your mentor in this 6,000 square foot house, right? You're working off of Cintiq monitors and a second monitor, so dual monitor setup, very professional, and it's hardcore. It's the most hardcore thing we do. You know, we find 4 extremely hardworking artists and we put those together. Guess what happens when you have 4 extremely hardworking artists together? You're going to work way harder. You're going to support each other way more, and it's life-changing. Then, towards the end of your trip, we bring in special guest artist of some sort. And that person will be living with you as well. So recently, I just posted a short film that Keith Asadera did, and that is Kay's brother, but also our production manager for Schoolism. And he stayed at the house with our guest artist, who was Eric Canetti at the time. Riot Games, League of Legends, and just overall awesome, incredible artist. Yeah, and he was there at the house, you know, with Keith, and they made a video and everything. But imagine living at the house with an artist that is doing the kinds of things that you want to do, or whatever it might be, and you're not just learning from this person, you're actually living with them, you're breaking bread with them, you know. It really is a special experience that I haven't heard anything even close. It's the most intense, the most exclusive, the coolest thing we're doing. Other people that have visited the house have been like Steven Silver, Nathan Fowkes, Jason Seiler. Kay and I have visited the house many a times. Justin Fields is going to the house. You know, he worked on Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He worked on Guardians of the Galaxy. He's worked on Jupiter Ascending. A million things. It's going to be incredible. I think this weekend, in a couple of days, Jonathan Hardesty, the one that I was talking about, painting the essentials of realism, or the essentials of realism with John Hardesty, he's going to be at the house too, and he's going to be teaching the artists there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so we have a question from Scott. Hi there, just woke up and managed to make it to your stream.
Right on.
Any plans for comic artist instructors for Schoolism?
I'm working on it. You know, like I did pitch it to J. Scott Campbell, one of my favorite artists of all time. Comic book artist, probably definitely one of my favorites of all time. We'll see. Comic book artists work so damn hard and so much. It's hard to find a person that's totally amazing and has time to teach. A while back we had the amazing Alvin Lee, Street Fighter fame and all sorts of other stuff, but then he went to Riot Games, and so then he stopped doing comics. And then he felt like, well, you know, I don't feel like I'm a comic book artist anymore, so I don't want to really do, you know, the comic book class anymore. So sad to see that one go, but hopefully we'll find something in the future to replace it. Something that I do want to mention is a lot of people ask about a storyboarding class, and we are doing a storyboarding class. We're bringing story artist and director Chris Pern. He has this wonderful, amazing storyboarding class that we're going to bring back next week. Part of the subscription, straight into the subscriptions stream. So for all the Schoolism subscribers, that's going to be an awesome class to check out. Very informative yet entertaining, which is kind of like the best combination, where you don't even feel like you're learning, you're just having fun, but in turn you're learning a heck of a lot. there you go. So it's my little dragon. I just gotta put a little bit of light on this thing, I think, and then I'm all set.
Oh, it looks like some people who were at your workshop are here right now. For the J. Scott Campbell and the Chris Byrne.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was the Dubai? Or the
J. Scott
Denver?
Campbell was Denver,
Yeah.
and then Chris Byrne was in Dubai,
Okay.
and that was like both extremely awesome workshops. Chris Byrne, the coolest thing about his workshop is that, and in his class as well, is that you get to see how a truly, professional, seasoned story artist pitches their stuff. And this is something I haven't seen anywhere at any school where they actually kind of do it to a professional level. A lot of these storyboard artists, they are such great presenters. And yeah, there's a lot of, like a lot of television storyboards that never get pitched. So it is really special to see how it happens with feature films, pitching for feature films. Okay, so a bunch of mediocre sketches, but you know what? I hope this gives everybody a bit more confidence in themselves, because there you go. There's my super not so good warm-up sketches, and it's all about the effort. It's all about the effort.
I don't know what you're talking about. They look amazing.
Thank you. You are very kind. Yeah, I'm looking at it just like, doesn't look that good. So last thing that I want to kind of leave everybody with is your goals are heavily determined by your beliefs of what is possible. So I'll tell you a secret. Just about anything is possible. So dream big. Dream real big. And the other thing is that talent can come from anywhere. I see people on the stream from all over the world. There's a megastar inside of you, so, let's go. Let's turn up the heat, turn up the persistence, turn up the effort, and make it happen, because that is the key to unlocking all this stuff. So this is Bobby Chiu and
Nisei Seki.
signing off, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and hope to see you guys again soon.